Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 123 CMMC. My name is Dana Mantilia, and I will be your host. And our guest today is Ken Underhill. Hello, Ken. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on, Dana.
I love the way it looks like you're in like a little spaceship.
I had to escape with the pandemic. I had to go to outer space.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, we have a very good topic today that applies to a lot of people, and it is cybersecurity personal branding. So I'm excited to hop into this. So our first question is going to be, why is personal branding important?
Well, just like a company brands itself, right? Coca-Cola, Pepsi, et cetera. I mean, we could name a million companies out there. We all as individuals are unique as well, right? So Coca-Cola, they sell soda or pop, depending on where you live, or Coke, depending on where you live. But basically, they sell you something to drink, and they have a lot of different drinks. We know that, right? When we hear Coca-Cola, we think immediately of something to drink. It doesn't matter what your favorite is, or Pepsi, or whatever. In the same way with your personal brand, you want people to, when they think of something, know you, right? So, for example, Dana, when we hear CMMC, who's the first person we think of? It's you, right? When we hear cloud compliance, it's probably AJ Yon or someone like that, right? So you want to be known for something, and that's your personal brand. And the reason why it's important is because number one, it allows you to get better positions. You can work at better companies because people know you have a following. And generally speaking, if they hire you, that following would be loyal to that brand just because you're there. I see that all the time with myself. The other aspect is things like public speaking, if you write books, if you want to build your own courses or whatever. I mean, all these things are tied to your personal brand. If no one knows about you, then guess what? Nobody knows about you. And they're not going to be buying from you or anything like that.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. And, if you find something that you're passionate about, it's easy to kind of bring that into your brand. I'm very passionate about cybersecurity and identity theft. So it was easy, to kind of to get into that whole world. And now people do associate that with me. So good point. All right. So how do you decide what your specialties should be?
All right, the $1 million question, right? So I get this a lot. This question actually a lot from very entry level people or people trying to break into cyber. You really have to just kind of play around and see what you're interested in, and understand that you're probably not going to figure it out the first time. Me myself, I mean, I started out networking the traditional IT route and came into cyber, then eventually found pen testing, which I loved, and then I started hating it. So I now in my spare time I do like forensics and stuff. So you're going to jump all around, but the key aspect there is just trying things. I always say start free. So if you're someone looking to break into cyber, start with any free courses, YouTube videos, whatnot you can find. Get your hands dirty on things. The more you touch it and do it, the more likely you're gonna say, I like this thing, right? If you just read about riding bikes and you watch videos about riding bikes, it's not the same thing as like riding a bike down a hill, fearing for your life because you don't know how to brake. Like those are experiences, right? And the experience is what's really going to help drive you. Now, just some general things, like if you like forensic shows like CSI or whatever, number one, it's never like that in cyber. It's never that easy. But the other thing there is if you like investigative type of stuff, maybe you are going to be really good at incident response and you love it and you love working in forensics, et cetera, or malware analysis or reverse engineering. Maybe if you like to work on cars right now, you like to take things apart. Maybe you're going to be a great pen tester. You could also be total opposite of what I'm saying, and that's totally fine too. So you really just have to play around and figure out what you like and go with one thing, pick one thing and go with that. And then you can just understand you can always change it later.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I do want to throw out there for the non-technical people, such as myself, is that there is a need for people like that in the cybersecurity world. And I think it's going to play a big role with trying to get the non-technical staff and employees certified or having them cybersecurity awareness and all that kind of stuff. There's going to be a little bridge between the CISO and maybe HR. That's someone that's like, okay, yes, the employees are doing this and can kind of translate a little bit from the tech talk to the regular people. So there's a need for those folks too.
100% agree with that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. So how do you build your personal brand? This is a good question.
Well, first, you decide what you want to do, right? If you want to be known for forensics or cloud security or pen testing, whatever. And then from there, figure out like, where is your audience at? And realistically, I mean, there's a huge cybersecurity audience on Twitter, but is that the right place for you to cut through the noise and be known for something? If you're planning to post, whether it's a video or blog, whatever, well, if you're planning to post like a small amount, you don't have a lot of time, LinkedIn's probably your best source. And honestly, LinkedIn's probably your best source for jobs as well out there. So really the way is just posting and posting as you're learning. I think a lot of people have a misconception that they have to be an expert in something. if you're one chapter ahead in the book over me, guess what? You know more than me in the book, right? Because you're a chapter ahead. So as you're learning things, that's actually the best time, because as a hiring manager, if I see you constantly posting about, I'm learning this is a new thing, I struggle with this, like share your struggles too. I struggle with this thing, etc. I'm going to say, you know what? Yes, they don't have the experience I need, but let me reach out to this person, because they're showing that they're staying with it. They're consistent. They're getting frustrations, because we all get in situations like that. There's always problems we can't initially solve off the top of our head. And they're sticking with it though, and let me reach out to them and see if they're interested, or if I know somebody interested. I get a lot of people actually on LinkedIn asking me like, please, I need a job. I very rarely will introduce those types of people to anyone, because that doesn't show me anything. But if I see you're out there constantly posting and stuff like that, even the dog agrees. The dog agrees with it too.
Hold on
Oh,
one second.
okay, good.
KTL is a Microsoft Gold partner and a CMMC registered provider organization. Their professional team members represent a variety of backgrounds and industries that will map out and guide you on your road to CMMC compliance. The process starts with a dedicated team of CMMC registered practitioners, understand your specific requirements, and are here to help every step of the way. KTL Solutions, delivering tailored solutions so you get the most out of your technology. Visit them today at ktlsolutions.com.
Okay, we're going to cut that part out.
Oh, I love that part, but okay. That's totally
All right,
fine.
so we're going to get back to where we were talking about building our personal brand with LinkedIn.
And so, the thing again that I recommend is just, be consistent. If you can only commit to one post a week, that's totally fine. And figure out the format that works for you. Like, I'm not a huge, like, fancy video. I mean, I jump on videos and stuff, and I'm really good at that because I've built a lot of courses over the years. So video is my thing. I'm not fancy with it. You don't see a lot of graphics or anything in my videos because that takes time. I don't have the time. So figure out what works for you. If it's video, if it's audio, if you don't want to be on camera. And by the way, for video, you don't have to be on camera. Just share your screen, record that. There's a lot of free tools out there. You can just do posts every so often, and that's fine too. It's just more about picking the thing that you want to be known for. And the more you post, it's going to make people remember you in their head. Like, oh, if I want to learn about, specifics of cloud security around AWS stuff, I go to Dana's channel, right? Because she's a place to go for that information. The other thing I'll say on that is be patient. You're going to get a lot of posts where like one person likes it. It's probably your grandma or something, or a friend or something.
Yep.
I mean, I get posts, and I've got a huge following, right, on LinkedIn. I get posts where some posts get 30, 40, 50,000, 100,000 follow, people liking it and all that stuff. I get some posts where 10 people look at it, right? And I've got a huge following, right? So you're battling an algorithm there. So just understand, stay consistent with it. The right people will always see this stuff eventually, and that will really help you both build your personal brand and also help you get different roles out there. Some companies I've interacted with over the years, they create positions for you because of your personal brand. So it's a very valuable thing to do.
I think, and having patience is a very, very important thing. I remember when I first started and I do my videos and I keep looking to see if anybody liked it or anything. No, nobody did anything, but eventually it does pick up traction. But you're absolutely right. Sometimes you have a lot of views and a lot of likes, and sometimes, not so many. But I also want to just throw in there too, is that people will reach, like for me with CMMC, people will reach out to me with questions that I may not know, but they're asking me if I know anybody that could help them with this, or if I know anybody that could point them in the right direction. So that's the other thing too that happens, is that, people will reach out to you about the general topic, knowing they have a very specific question, just asking for a little guidance.
Absolutely.
All right, so this is a good one too here. How do you start a podcast or courses on a budget? I'm really looking for this answer here.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm all about like start with the lowest cost possible, because most of my startups I bootstrapped. So for those out there, like you'll find a lot of YouTube videos and stuff that say, oh, buy this, $1,000 microphone, all this stuff. You don't need any of that. If you're looking at this right now, you're probably looking on your phone. Just use your phone. Record videos with your phone. You can take those, strip them out with free tools. You can strip the audio out. You can record audio on most phones these days. Just use your phone. Use what you have. If you have a webcam, use that. Doesn't have to be the fanciest webcam in the world. Who cares? Just get stuff out there. Stop letting finances, be a barrier on things. There's so many free tools for video editing, audio, just so many things. I mean, if you want to compress videos, a cheap trick, or low cost trick, I guess, but a cheap trick, a free trick, is upload them to YouTube and then download the video. they'll compress it for free for you, so you don't have to spend money on that, or use a tool like Handbrake or something. But there's
That's
just
a
so
good
many.
tip. I didn't know that. So
Oh yeah,
if you upload the video to YouTube and then you download it into an MP4, it'll be compressed.
yeah, it should be compressed from its original format for you. Yeah, so that's a trick. I use Veed.io, which is a paid one these days because it's a little faster than YouTube. But for those out there that don't want to spend any money, you just upload to YouTube and then bring it back down again. There's also a lot of the podcast hosting things out there the free ones, many of them will give you an option. So if you just record like audio, you can upload it in there, distribute your podcast, but also oftentimes I know like Red Circle is one where you can they'll let you create a video out of that. Granted, it has like their logo and stuff on it, but that's fine unless you're trying to get sponsorship or whatever. But you can at least get that out there on YouTube as well, right? So you could have a podcast and a YouTube channel and do all these things. So you can do so much for free these days. And that's really the best way to do that. As far as courses go, you will want something you can record with, unless you have an audio course, which I really haven't seen in a long time. So you really want a video course. But I mean, a low-cost software, you can actually do it for free with their watermark in it, is Screencast-O-Matic. I've used them for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now. That's my go-to a lot of times. So that's something very low cost. It's like $16 or $20 US for the paid version, or you can do the free version. There's a lot of them out there you can do a free version on. And then upload to a site, right? So many people I speak with actually want to like host their own stuff, and I got to own everything. That's just stupid when you're starting out. I'm sorry, it's stupid, because you're going to be spending a lot of money, right? And a lot of time, a lot of effort. Find something like a Udemy where they've already got an audience. If you want to do a paid course, put it up there. See if anyone even wants it, right? That tells you like, does anybody care or not? And it also gives you something else, right? A little more credibility, because it's like, oh, you got a Udemy course, you must know what you're talking about. You could be totally brand new, read like 2 books, take 1 course, build your own course, and everyone's like, oh, you're the expert on this because you have a course. That's just the way society works. So a lot of free options out there, low cost options. My biggest thing is I hear from people that want to like take out loans to do things. Don't do that, please. Like, be smart with your finances. Start free or low cost first, and then move up from there, get a little fancier.
And I always want to say too, is done is better than perfect. So when you're saying about making sure that it doesn't have to be perfect, and I agree with that 100%, because I think that holds a lot of people back as they say, oh, I got to buy the software for editing, I got to have the background, I got to have this. When, if you just start and get it out there, I think the casual nature of a lot of videos nowadays is completely different than it was even say 5 years ago. That whole like has to be proper, like, like this, it's kind of gone. And so done is better than perfect. Just remember that.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. People want authenticity. They want to see the raw you. They want to see you stumbling, saying ums and ahs, if you do that naturally. And of course, eventually work on that, right? Work to improve that. But when you're starting out, like Dana said, just get it done. Like, literally, if you're thinking about filming something, just turn on the camera right now and start filming it. You can always delete it, right? Nobody's going to see it except for you. So you can delete that. I do that all the time. I'm like, oh, that was terrible.
I do too.
Yeah. But just start. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest barrier that people have.
Yes, absolutely. Starting. All right. Well, this was really, really helpful. Is there anything you want to throw out there before we go?
No, I think we covered the main things there, right? Just start, stay persistent. If you take anything away from this, start, stay persistent, and work on your personal brand, because it's so critical to your career. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Ken, so much for all of your expertise and your time. And thank everybody for watching. And we hope to see you on the next episode of 123 CMMC. Bye-bye. Yeah.